This is Mrs. Johnson, and I would like to show you how to solve number 19 on our last test. It was very difficult, and the way I'm doing it isn't the only way to solve it, but this gives you an idea of what I did for this test question. I'm going to write out everything that I know first. So it says Alice has 50% of Betty. So we know Alice A is half of Betty. We also know that Carrie has 2/5 of Alice. And then we know that Betty equals $364 more than Carrie. So I usually like to write out all our information. This is what we're dealing with, okay? And the way that I solved it was by a substitution method. We know we eventually need to solve for A here, okay? So I need to find out what A is 1/2 of B. So when I want to find B and substitute, we already know what B is. B is here. So let me just rewrite that. We know B is C plus 364. Okay, don't forget the half. And then when I want to go back and see, hey, I know C is right here. So let me just write that in for C. C is 2/5 times A. That part is C, and then I'm just gonna, don't forget the rest of the question, and then the half at the beginning. All of this will give us how much Alice has. Okay, so all of this is the 1/2 right here times B. So let's do a little bit of the algebra and work backwards. I'm going to start by getting rid of this half. And the way I do that, the opposite of this times a half is divide by a half. Another way to think about dividing by a half is also multiplying by 2. Okay, so if you're going to do that, then the half is gone and you're left with 2/5 times A plus 364, because we got rid of this half. If I multiply by 2, I also have to multiply by 2 on the other side. So A times 2 is equal to 2A. And now let's continue getting rid of the A here. Let's minus it. I also have to do it on the other side. Minus 2/5 A here. So 2A minus 2/5 A, you're left with 1 3/5 A here. And since you got rid of that, we're left with 364. So the opposite of times 1 3/5, I'm going to divide by 1 3/5. I got to do it on the other side. So if you put in 364 divided by 1 3/5, 1 3/5, you can also write it as an improper fraction. We did that as a class. So that's equal to 8/5. And we know dividing fractions, keep the first, change the divide to times, and then you flip, give me the reciprocal. And doing all of this will give you the $227.50. I hope that makes sense for you. And like I said, if you have any other questions, please let me know.